Okay.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Small Workshops, Big Profits online webinar workshop itself. Let me make sure I hit record before I forget to do the most important thing. Well, that's not all the most important thing, is it? Marta, just a quick reminder. Yeah, I think you already muted yourself, but I might ask you to unmute. So Marta is on the line as my backup woman in the side pocket when I need extra help. We are live streaming this at the same time as you are joining us on GoToMeeting. We are, I think, on Facebook Live. Marta maybe will pop on and let me know if that's working a-okay. It looks like we are. So welcome if you're watching on Facebook Live. Welcome if you are on GoToWebinar. Either way, you're in the right place. If you want to start hosting workshops, big or small, in your hometown or even far away, and do it in a way that gets you paying clients and allows you to serve your clients in a really big way as well. So I'm going to be ripping and rocking tonight. This is a deep dive training. It's going to be about an hour. Hopefully we'll have some fun along the way, but you're going to be learning a lot too. So grab a pen and paper and be sure that you are ready to dive in. Now, I want to make sure, am I sharing my screen in GoToWebinar? I think I'm not, so that would help a lot. There you go. So in GoToWebinar, just give us a shout out and let us know where you are tuning in from. If you are on Facebook Live, do the same thing in the comments below. Just let us know where you're tuning in from. And the other big favor I will ask of any and all of you is if you would be so kind to either visit the Facebook page real quick, or if you're already watching on there, just share the Facebook Live with a friend. That'll help us get the word out to more people. We always appreciate your help and support in that way. So you are in the right place if you are leaping to the next level. Maybe you've already hosted some workshops in the past. Let me move this little control box out of the way. You might be interested in the specialty training about workshops and how they can work for you in your business, or maybe you're just curious and you just stumbled upon us right now. That is a-okay and totally fine too. This is a really big opportunity if you're looking for ways to get more private coaching clients. And this is something that most coaches and consultants want more of. It could even actually be inviting people into your group coaching program. But how do you get people actually interacting and working with you in that deeper way? Well, workshops are a great way to do that. Tonight, we're going to talk about some of the key things that make them work, just so that we can both get the most out of our time together. I ask that you come with a beginner's mind, do focus and take notes for sure, because there's going to be actionable takeaways from tonight's training. Find your way to yes. Like if something I suggest to you, if you're not 100% sure how it applies to you and your business, just ask yourself, how might that apply? How could I make that suggestion work? And if you feel some resistance, that's even maybe a better reason to kind of ask yourself, what is that resistance and how could you possibly shift through to put it into play for your business? And of course, I can hang on the line at the end and answer questions too to help you customize these ideas for you and your business. Certainly have fun. You'll see I might get a little goofy tonight. I'm sure I'll come up with some fun stuff for us to get to together besides the content. But do have fun and make sure you decide on a next step. Don't just intellectualize and go, great tips, Kristin, right? Let's make sure you actually know how you're going to apply this in your business to get better results. Now, Marta, I'm just going to ask you to unmute for a quick sec if you can and let me know that everything is functioning and everyone can see me and everybody's happy and a-okay. And those of you watching, let us know.
Everything's looking good.
Thank you. Were you going to say something else?
Oh, I was going to say, it looks perfect. The audio's good, video's good. Everybody's hopping on the line.
Awesome. Yay, thanks, Marta. What would I do without Marta? Okay, so here's the big opportunity in front of you. If you're already great at what you do, the biggest challenge that we run into is how do we get you more visible, right? How do you get in front of bigger audiences or get in front of audiences more often? This is how we grow our business. Now, when I started, I never imagined I would get to share the stage with people like Adam Urbanski or Suzanne Evans, be featured on top podcasts with leaders like James Schramko and John Lee Dumas. And that's where I found myself, which was actually a pretty big surprise to me, being kind of a work from home mom who in the beginning had no experience speaking and certainly had no experience marketing online either. And we now have grown Speak, Serve, Grow by doing a really great blend of both of those things and have generated single-handedly over $1 million, which is, you know, a shock, like I said, even to me. And I should mention that that's without a big sales team or really any sales team. We had already generated that on our own without any huge partner launches. The first real partner launch I ever did was just this past spring, and learned a lot from it. But I want you to know that even if you're not in that place, you single-handedly, with all the great stuff you know, can build an awesome business. And workshops are a great way to do that. But there's obviously a few things that might be holding you back, really common roadblocks that slowed you down in the beginning and might be slowing you down. One is just playing small. For me, this was a big challenge, kind of not seeing myself as that leader, like imagining that that level of visibility or success was for other people. And if you are kind of a humble-minded person, which I would like to think that I am, it's kind of weird. You can't, calling yourself humble seems not humble, but you get what I'm saying. That can actually hold you back. So playing small, some of you just might not be sure what you would teach in a workshop or how you would like assemble all of the content together. Many of you are wondering how you actually get butts and seats and fill the room. We're going to talk about that tonight. And then how do you monetize all of this? Obviously, that's where the rubber meets the road. So that's what we're going to cover tonight, is filling the room, the piecing together the content, like how do you get the stuff out of your head and make a great day out of it for people? And then how do we have you generating income? So if you are struggling at all, we're going to turn the beat around for you, get things moving in the right direction. In fact, you know, we could have a little dance party right now, right? Turn the beat around. Somewhere, someone's dancing with me. Okay, good. Now, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this workshop yapping about myself, but for those of you who maybe I haven't had the chance to meet yet, again, my name is Kristin Thompson. I'm in Portland, Oregon, coming to you from my downstairs tonight. My husband and I moved to Portland in 2005, and we made plans to get married and have a baby and get a house and all those great things that you do when you're in love and you're starting your family. And it was a really special time. It all kind of took a weird turn when I did get pregnant and we went in for that very first ultrasound. We got some really scary news. The doctor turned to us and there was like first, a bunch of people whispering in the corner, and my husband and I were kind of like, something's not right here. And what it was the doctor telling us that they saw something wrong on the ultrasound, and that it was their very serious recommendation that we not go forward with the pregnancy. And I'm not telling you the story to pull on your heartstrings. You'll see how this ties into the topic tonight here in a second. But obviously in that moment, we were beyond devastated and terrified and all the things that you can imagine. It just sucked the wind right out of me, honestly, when the doctor told us that. And so we really did some deep thought. And in that moment, I just took a breath and said, I hear what you're saying, and now you need to say something else. So what else can we do? So what else we could do ended up being just a battery of tests and biopsies and scans that I won't bore you with. But that was really how my pregnancy went. It wasn't all cheery. It was cheery as well. And I loved having that big round pregnant belly, but it was also a really scary time. I was in the hospital, hooked up to IVs at one point on bed rest. My son was in the neonatal intensive care unit. You can see us the night he was born right here on the left. And make sure, Marta, that all the lines are muted, by the way, just to keep the line really clean. So what happened was he was born healthy. He did spend a few days in the ICU, but then he was totally healthy and totally fine in the end. And these are pictures of him more recently. He's just the light and the love of my life. The reason why I'm sharing that story with you is we left the hospital after all of this, 8 months of drama and a lot of specialists and all kinds of craziness, with a huge stack of bills. And this was in 2008, now turning into 2009. The economy, of course, in the US was spiraling out of control. My husband got laid off, and I got really scared. How am I going to take care of this baby? How are we going to take care of this baby? And I also kind of got a little angry, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't want to be at the mercy of the economy. I don't want to be at the mercy of a paycheck or other people anymore. And so I had learned some speaking working for a personal development company, and had given talks that would funnel people into their workshops. That was like my only job, was to give talks and sell people into their workshops. And I realized I have to do this for myself. Like this is about taking care of your family now, right? So I'm happy to say my husband got a job really quickly. He's a very, very brilliant network engineer and has a brilliant tech mind, and he got a job right away. And I went and gave a talk about an hour from my house and where I live now to a little networking group. And because I didn't have like a product or program to sell, and I thought, well, what do I know how to do? Well, what did I learn from the personal development company? Sell people into a workshop. So that's what I did. I made a really simple offer and said, hey, if some of you want to, come back and learn a little more, just by, I'll do a workshop just for the people in this networking group. And so while normally I might charge like $300 for a workshop like this, we'll just make it like, let's say $100 a person, make a big discount, and I'll just do the workshop just for the people in this networking group. And so of the 40 people at this lunch, 30 people said yes. And so I walked in as pretty broke, right? And very scared. And I left with $3,000 in my hand. And at that time, that was like, whoa, right? Like I won the lottery. I was pretty darn excited. In fact, if someone wants to give me $3,000 right now, I'll still get excited. I feel like the lights are glaring on my glasses. Sorry about that, guys. I'll see if I can figure that out. Doesn't matter. You're looking at the slides, hopefully more than me. So the light bulb went off over my head and I got the power of this model. I made some mistakes. I did not like suddenly unlock the doors to success. So tonight I'm going to be sharing with you some of the missteps that I made and how you can just not do them. It'll get you to result a lot faster. So we're going to do a pop quiz. I want to ask for some feedback from all of you before we dive in. But this is why I'm so excited, because I know this really works and it really transformed my life and business. So let's figure out where you are at right now in your business. So you could just on your notepad or wherever you're taking notes, just do a T or F, follow along, true or false. So I am known for the one thing I do super well, true or false. I have one talk that I can deliver that will consistently convert clients, true or false. I know my average closing ratio when I speak live to groups. I have a signature system or series and I'm known for it. People repeat my catchphrases back to me. You can't see your screen on GoToWebinar. Okay, is this a new thing or now we're back on track? Hopefully we're back on track. People repeat my catchphrases back to me. And Marta, just give me an update on the screen, thanks. I know the right program to offer and the right place for people to start. I have a product I can sell that does not require me to deliver it. Do you have a leveraged program is what I'm asking, that we can funnel more and more people in that doesn't necessarily require you to work more and more hours, okay? And then do you have multiple streams of income, and is your income where you want it to be? So let's see how you did in the chat box. So in the comments on Facebook Live and in the Q&A and GoToWebinar, let me know how you did on this quiz. So you can say yay if you did great. You could say so if you feel like you didn't do so hot. You could say ruh-roh or oh shizzle if you're not feeling great about it. And okay, good. So we can see. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And let us know. Marta's going to give me a kind of a report. Where are you all at? And while she's looking at your responses, and please do respond, I'm just having her help me out so that all my little control boxes aren't blocking the slides. So here's what I want you to know. If you felt like a oh shizzle, like you felt like, oh, I had to answer false to all of these, that's not a reason to get discouraged. And in fact, I'm known for saying that. That actually gets me really excited. Like, ooh, let me get my hands on you, because you have the most to gain from putting some of these pieces in place for your business. So it's not a point of shame or anything to be like, oh, I don't have any of this. That's actually great news. That means we can put the right pieces in place now and grow your business forward. And if you have some of them in place and you're missing one or two, by the way, also great opportunity. I'm a huge believer it takes one good idea. You know, I've invested in programs, and that's always my intention when I invest in a training or a coaching program of some kind, is I'm going to get one good idea that'll help me recoup this income and grow from there. It's not usually that you need 93 things. It's like you need that one focused tip or strategy that you can put into place. So Marta, what are we hearing back from our people? Are we getting some so-sos, some hot stuff? Where are people at on this quiz?
We've got all kinds of answers. Elsom says it's all good from here. Amanda says so. Steven says meh.
Meh.
Tammy says she needs lots of help. Deborah says shizzle.
Oh, yep.
Oh, what was that?
No, I would just said, yep, that makes sense.
Jamie says too many F's. She said, Jamie, I don't know if it's she or he says, I have some great things in place and on the verge of a breakthrough, though I still feel stuck.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. That and by the way, sorry, did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh no, we just had some more responses too.
Okay, well, thank you, by the way, everybody who responded, thank you, because it makes it a lot more fun when we're interacting. It'll be more fun for you and certainly more fun for me and Marta to know where you're at and to get to know all of you on today's training. For those of you who are feeling meh or again, just get excited because we can put these pieces in place. And for those of you on the brink of a breakthrough, yeah, that's such a fun, exciting place to be. So always be hopeful, no matter where you're at in your business. Hold hope, because one shift in your business, and especially when you're speaking and doing workshops, the kind of stuff that I can help you do, it is often the little tweaks that make huge difference in your results. I'll try to put a memory jogger to share some stories with you of what's going on for some of my clients right now. So when we're filling the room, what are some of the things that might be holding you back? Some of you never try, meaning you don't even want to put the idea out there that you're going to host a workshop because you're thinking ooh, once I say I have a workshop, I kind of have to have a workshop. And Marta will attest that the first time that we were going to do the Rise Live event, and any time I've done any live anything or even a webinar like this, it's is anyone going to come? We all kind of have that feeling, right? And so we don't want to throw a party and have no one show up. And we don't want to let that stop you from serving your purpose and helping more people. Okay. So we're going to work on that tonight. I'm going to give you lots of ideas on how you can fill the room. And so we'll talk about that in a second. Some of you might just not know how, just the mechanics. You just need some ideas and some strategies. And many of you may be using one way to fill the room. And that can be really, really challenging and obviously is more risky, because if that one way doesn't work, kind of blows up your workshop, right? So here's the one thing that I think is important. I'll move my face here. Remember that when you get live in the room with people, whether it's 5 or 50 or 500, there's this really amazing connection. You guys can see me right now and I can feel your energy, by the way, when you're tuning in and you're really putting your attention and you're answering questions and all that, it feeds my energy. However, that's nothing compared to what happens when you and I are live in a room together, right? Which with my mid-level group coaching program, the Rock Your Talk and Biz Club, we get together, and my private clients as well. A couple strategic times during the year, they come into Portland, we get in the room together. We did it at the Rise Live event, which is a 3-day live training. There's this magic that happens. That's we're humans, right? Human contact and energy exchange and connection that is much more difficult to create in online platforms. So I'm a big fan. I love online marketing. We're online right now. Do use it in your business. I love to teach my clients to use it, but I also like mixing in live formats, giving live talks, teaching workshops, because that is where the big impact comes in. When you impact somebody's life and connect with them in a really meaningful way, that will lead to more money in your business. One leads to the other, right? So we want we want to remember that those two things are always married. Income and impact really do go together, right? Like little friends, little friends hanging out together. I say that meaning the kinds of people I work with, that's what we care about. Not everybody does. Some people just want to make money. That's okay too. So what I'm going to ask you to do, this might sound a little harsh, but get over yourself. Get over yourself to help somebody else. Meaning, would you be willing to risk a little bit of your ego to put it out there and host a little workshop or host a webinar like this and be willing? Maybe the room doesn't fill up as much as you want, or what if only a few people buy your coaching program, or what if someone doesn't like what you share? Would that be okay? This is my little challenge to you. Could you be okay with that if it helped even just one person? Because when I made that choice for myself, and maybe it sounds overly sentimental or hokey, but When I made that decision for myself, and it took me a while to come to the realization of like, when you're getting nervous and all this worked up, this is about, you getting into your ego. So if you're willing to kind of sacrifice yourself and not worry about how you're going to be perceived and not require everything to be a success, though we can make it a success, but let go of that grip, right, on having to have everything be perfect, you can get back to the business of seeking to serve people in a bigger way. And when you do that, your whole business will change because you'll be making decisions from what I would say a more right place, right? A more correct place. So we can fill your workshop absolutely with great people, whether it's a few or a few hundred, but there's a few things that you definitely want to pay attention to in order for that to happen. The number one mistake that I see people make when it comes to filling the room for a workshop is not giving yourself enough of a lead time. So what you don't want to do is say, all right, great, Kristin, you convinced me. I'm going to get over myself and throw my hat in the ring and risk it because I want this moment, right? Like on the screen, I want this moment of connection with my clients or my potential clients. So I will risk it. But then don't just say, great, so the workshop is next weekend. That's not going to cut it. So we want to plan properly. We want to give your workshop enough lead time that we can create the right strategies and put them in place, have enough time to put them in place to fill the room. So the number one thing to jot down in your notes there, it's a big mistake to avoid, is not enough lead time. So instead, you're going to give yourself plenty of time. I recommend no less than 90 days lead time to fill the room. And the amount of lead time is going to depend on the size of the workshop. Is it one day? Is it a big 3-day live event? Is a simple 1-day workshop? By the way, please start with a simple 1-day workshop. And those of you who are already advanced, yes, I can absolutely help you with strategy for a multi-day big live events. But give yourself lead time so that you can create the strategy to make it a success. That's tip number one. Now, tip number two is kind of my top way for filling the room after we avoid that mistake. And we do have enough lead time, then what is what you're wondering, right? So here's how this can work for you. Giving talks is the number one way that I suggest to fill your workshops and live events because it is the most aligned. Like what we know from sales and marketing is that when we can line up platforms, meaning live in person is great when you're selling live in person. And online is great when you're selling something that's online. So we want to line up the offer and the way we offer it. The closer those are aligned, the more successful you're going to be. So if you want to fill up a live workshop, giving live talks is the most aligned way. Makes sense? If so, give me an amen in the comments or in the chat box, because that is a big aha, hopefully, for some of you, and it'll really help you fill your room more quickly and with better candidates. So imagine if you go give free talk, you give a free talk, you offer seats to your workshop. At your workshop, you're going to rock hot content, right? You're going to serve people in a really big way. And I'll talk about that in a moment, how you can do that. And then at the end of your workshop, you're going to make an offer for people to work with you deeper beyond your 1-day workshop. So you give a talk, you sell your workshop. At the workshop, you deliver great content. At the workshop, then you offer the next step for people. This is a great way to fill your business with coaching and consulting clients. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But remember, I said, if you're only relying on one way to fill the room, if you have your entire workshop hinging on one talk, right? That's a lot of pressure. I'm not, maybe you're cooler than I am. I ain't that cool, right? So that's too much pressure for me. But what if we had a whole bunch of talks? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, baby. What if we have a whole bunch of talks all funneling into one workshop? Now we're cooking with gas. So if you flub talk number one, you lose your mind, you forget what you're going to say. It doesn't matter because you have 5, 6, 10 more talks. My client Stacy is a great example of this. She's put a workshop on the calendar. She booked a whole bunch of speaking gigs. She's got 10 or 12 talks lined up between now and her next workshop. That is a great way to enjoy every talk and have no pressure. You're just serving in a big way. Some days you're going to knock the ball out of the ballpark. Tons of people are going to sign up. Another time, maybe 3 people sign up. But overall, it all averages out and you get a nice full room. So again, it's not just one talk, book multiple talks that could all funnel into one workshop. And remember, talks are not the only way to fill the room. So I'm a big fan of using a multi-platform approach. Use a Facebook ad, do a Facebook Live, pick up the phone and call people and personally invite them. Have partners who can help you promote. We teach all of this inside my coaching programs because you do want to be multidimensional, and the more platforms that you're marketing on, the better chance you are going to be at being successful. So you don't have to do 93 things, but we want to choose those like top 3 ways to fill the room so that you're using this complementary approach versus this one way better work or, right? Up a creek without a paddle. Yeah. So Sandy is a great example. Marta and I both know Sandy really well. She's a sweetheart and she works with nonprofits, mostly animal rescues, but all kinds of nonprofits, helping them fundraise. So she teaches fundraising for nonprofits. Her programs are generally kind of more low ticket, high volume, because again, she's working with nonprofits. It's not super swanky high ticket sales. Her very first talk, just to give you an idea of like how speaking can help grow your business, that generated $18,000. Her talks then started funneling into a live event, which she did last year. She did, I think, a 2-day event, was her very first one. I believe with follow-up, like on the day of the event and with some follow-up to the end of the year, that generated somewhere around 6 figures, and she's doing it again this year. So it doesn't really matter your industry. You don't need to be a business coach. She's here working with nonprofit animal rescues. Whatever it is you do, start thinking about how getting live in a room with people could serve them in a really big way and help you build your business too, just like Sandy did. Okay, I'm gonna take a little sip of water here. And okay, so let's talk about content. And if you have a question about content, you can put it in the comments on Facebook Live or in the Q&A on GoToWebinar, and I'll have Marta kind of check in on that. But if you have a question about how to pull your content together for your workshop, how do you make the day successful for people would be another way to word it. Go ahead and put your question in the chat box. By the way, if you're on Facebook Live and you feel compelled to share this live broadcast with some people, I would absolutely love it. And if we get a couple of shares, I'm gonna have Marta look at it. I will actually add, because I'll let you guys know in a little bit, by the way, if you wanna join us in the Start Me Up with Speaking Club, I'll tell you how you can do that. And if some people are kind and generous enough, which I appreciate, to share this on Facebook a few times, I will think of something new to add, like a bonus that's not on the sales page, and I'll add it in for those of you who decide you want to kind of hop in and join us in the club. Maybe that's a fun thing to do. We'll see. We'll see. Do you want to? We'll see. Okay, but let's talk about your content for your workshop. So here are the things that we see slowing people down. One is the accidental snooze fest, which means you create a lot of content and you like focus so much on all the content that you kind of forget to keep people engaged and make it entertaining in some way also. Some of you just aren't really sure how to organize it, right? We've got like all this stuff that you know in your head and you're like, what do I do with this, right? And then some of you just don't know how to be strategic about it. Definitely, this was a learning curve for me where I just came with all this content and I didn't really understand or think about how to manage that, which we'll talk about in a second, so this makes more sense, how to manage the content to give people the proper experience rather than just fire hose everything you know at people. So one way to make your content kind of interesting and engaging is to just get really clear about your brand personality. And one of the ways we help you do that in the Rock Your Talk program, which is inside of the Start Me Up with Speaking Club, is we help you uncover your brand personality archetype. And this is a really important step in bringing you forward, because the most entertaining you are ever going to be, or the most interesting or compelling that you are ever going to be, is when you're just being you. And you don't need to put a mask on. You don't need to have a certain kind of personality, like, oh, I have to be really like mean to everybody, be really tough like Larry Wingett. I don't want to tell people to shut up or whatever. No, you don't. Oh, I need to be glamorous and put on a skin tight shimmery dress and heels and have a big blonde blowout. No, you don't. You can if you dig that. Please do. But there is not one style or one personality that is success. please give me an amen in the chat box or in the comment box if you're feeling that, because this is really someone's going to have a big awakening on this. It was for me. It took me a while to get it. And it's actually a piece that I still work on and that I work on with my clients is like, how is your brand personality really showing through? And what are the masks that we need to take off so that we can really genuinely connect with people? Because that's what creates a movement, a tribe of fans and followers, is you being you. And so my question to you is, how do you want people to feel? Because it's not just about your content and it's not just about you and your personality being like hey, the me show. It's not about that. But it is about saying, what is the feeling that I want people to have when they're digesting my content, when they come to your workshop for the day? Yes, in a moment, I'm going to talk to you about organizing all that cool stuff, the know-how, but also write in your notes, how do I want people to feel on the day? Because that's honestly, as much as the ahas, that is the other number one thing people are going to take away from their day with you is how you made them feel. Okay, I feel like I took that a little too seriously. That's very important. So when it comes to content, oversimplifying doesn't work. I saw this meme on Facebook and my husband and I, this is still our joke in our household. It's like, oh, it's super easy. We're just step one, you're going to do this. Step two, do the effing rest of it. All right, build the rest of the cabinet, draw the rest of the owl. So we don't want to oversimplify and say, well, your workshop is going to teach people in 2 simple steps how to make $1 million, because it's not 2 steps. So we want a workshop or your content to be meaty enough that it really it attracts people and draws them into you. But we also don't want it to be so overcomplicated and so overwhelming that people are like, wah, right? I can't do this. If you completely overwhelm them at your workshop or in a talk for that matter, people will shut down and they'll feel like they can't be successful in your program. So somewhere between the two is a really great balance of the right amount of content. So let's talk about it. What is it, Kristin? Very good question. Oops, I skipped a slide. So what we're going to do, this is part of also the Rock Your Talk program. So after we figure out your brand, next we figure out your system. And the Rock Your Talk program is the first one we take you through inside the Start Me Up with Speaking Club, by the way. So we want to take all the cool stuff it's in your head, and then map it out into a system, an organized system that people can follow. What are the steps or the keys or the pillars that your clients need to go through to get from the big fat problem all the way over to the transformation? And this is going to help synthesize all the cool stuff into a system that you can now get known for, you can articulate, you can take people through those steps at your workshop. It's awesome. And this, by the way, it's also the steps of your system. We will also plug those into the talk template to build your talk. So imagine you have your system. Those steps are going to be plugged in and be the main content of your talk, which will sell people into your workshop, where we go through those same steps just in a much deeper way, because now we have a whole day versus a few minutes. Does that make sense? If so, give me a woohoo or an aha in the comments. Hopefully it does. Okay, before I move forward, let me give you a quick example. So if this is where your client is in the problem. So this is like a weight loss example, right? Here we might go, first thing we're going to do is cut out sugar. I'm going to make this up because I'm not a weight loss expert. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out what? Something else bad, unhealthy grains. Then step 3, we're going to get you moving your body. Step 4, we're going to do strength training. And step 5, you're going to run a marathon. Whatever, right? These are the keys. If that's what I believe the journey I need to take you on to get you from not fit to fit, then that's my system. Here at Speak, Serve, Grow, the Rock Your Talk program is our newest program. The very first step is about your brand personality. We uncover your uniqueness and make sure you get clear on that. Then we map out your system. That's step 2. We put that system into the talk template that builds your talk in step 3. Next up, what do I need to do? If you have your talk, what's the next thing I need to teach you? How do you deliver that talk when you're in front of the room? Okay, great. That's step 4. Now that I've given you that, I ask myself, what's next? How do I get them all the way over the mountain? You need to know how to make money from that talk. That's step 5. So do you see how by giving you all those nuggets, I've taken you from A to Z in a very high level way, right? It's the big pillars that you need to learn, and the details are in the pillars. Boom. I hope that worked. I hope that gave you somebody a big aha. Now this you got to download before the webinar, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You can look at it again after today's training, but this is just a tool to remind you of the energetic flow of the day that you take people through. When they attend your workshop, what is the feeling of the day? So that again, it's not just let me teach them everything I know, but that they have an experience. And that needs to include in the beginning of your day, getting the room really connected with one another, addressing objections in your content. So knowing what are the things that are going to stop people from feeling brave enough or confident enough to say yes to whatever the next step is on their journey, and making sure that you're addressing that in the content of the workshop, and making sure you inspire them to take action and that you really hold space when people are in that decision-making mode. These are important elements. So as much as we create your content, we're going to pay attention to their experience too. So remember that, yes, give great content and give a great feeling too. And that is really the secret to success when you're teaching people live in the room. So what I want to talk about next is what you need next. I'm going to definitely share you some resources. I'll tell you a little bit about the Start Me Up with Speaking Club. For those of you who do want to join in, I'll tell you how you can do that. And then we're going to end on the workshop Way to Profit. How do you monetize this so that it's actually bringing you clients and making you money? And I don't want to just give you one idea. I want to give you several ideas. The key thing that you really need next in your business, knowing that, okay, I want to do a workshop, and I get that a talk and some other things are a great way to fill it. But I really want to give you that path for you to be really visible year round, not just when you're doing your workshop, that you understand how to bring your true self forward. We touched on that with the brand personality, just like a blip, but really make sure you understand how to get clear about your uniqueness, who you actually are in your business, how you want to lead people so that your personality is in all of your content. That is part of how you do stand out and draw people into your room, is by you being really clear about who you are. That's how you're going to attract like-minded clients who totally get you. Knowing that you have a really simple, clear plan to grow your business, whether you're trying to get to 6 figures or multiple, or even get up into hitting 7, it's about a simple plan and leverage, enough leverage so that, yes, you're serving people in a really big way, but not in a way that's going to burn you out. I'm just a huge fanatic about making sure that your needs are being met. Yeah. So part of that is giving you a talk that consistently converts, because that can funnel people into your programs all year round. And certainly those of you who want to teach a workshop as a part of that, it is a great way to get people into your coaching programs. And I'll talk a little bit about why you wouldn't necessarily just give a talk and then funnel people into your coaching programs before we wrap up today's content. I've had the pleasure of helping a lot of people through this journey, whether it's Chelsea Marie up here at the top, who's in her 20s and learned how to book her year with 10K months by giving talks and funneling people into her branding, her consulting, and her training program. Jen Fitzgerald, who closed over $16,000 in recurring monthly income in her very first talk under very imperfect circumstances. That's a great story. To Mary, to Sandy Rees, who I told you about, to Rob, who has filled his coaching programs year after year after year using on and offline platforms. Amazing people doing really great things. And I want that for you too, because if you're here, I'm assuming it's because you have a message and you want to give it a life, and your message does need you. There's like this really magical thing that happens when you and your message meet, and you need each other, right? And your message is like whispering in your ear right now, telling you, please share me with more people so we can serve more people in a bigger way. It needs you. And there's also a person out there. I'm constantly reminding myself and all of my clients, if you feel the call to share a message, it is because there's a person out there right now waiting to hear that message through you. And I don't know why that is. I'm not mystical enough to tell you, but there is. Like, there might be 10 people who teach the same topic, And there's something about when you share that topic that'll just connect with this particular person who, for whatever reason, just had to hear it the way you say it, with your personality and your style. So please never doubt that. Please honor that and bring that forward so that you can help somebody today. Because I'm assuming if you're here, it's also because somewhere inside you're ready to get started too and get to that next level. I definitely want to help you do that. Stand out by being yourself, have that great talk, grow your list, close more clients, but without being old-fashioned, like pushy, salesy. And there's lots of fun ways to do that online off right now, depending on your strengths. We want to really leverage your strengths, get you getting more referrals, get you more visible, speaking online and off. These are all possible for you. Now, I mentioned the Rock Your Talk program, and that's the program that we launched in the last summer, actually, where we teach you how to uncover your brand. And I'm going to tell you how you can basically get this program for free and a bunch of other stuff here in a minute. But you can rock your brand. So be yourself, uncover your personality. You can rock your system, package your expertise, and make that system that you're going to get known for. Then we're going to take that system and plug it into the talk template. Talk template, by the way, is the roadmap or structure. So your talk is still going to be totally different than anybody else's talk that's used my template, just to be really clear, but it's the right structure that'll support you in teaching people, serving them, and getting clients at the same time. Then we'll show you how to deliver it in front of the room and make money from it. This is our most popular program. It's definitely a great place to start because, again, this is going to help you fill your workshop. It'll also funnel people into any other area of your business that you want. And this sold over summer, by the way, for $9.97. It's an amazing program. Everybody loved it who went through it. I say that humbly, but I put a lot of work into it. And it's time-tested confidence that I'm very sure that you would absolutely love. And that program now sits inside the Start Me Up with Speaking Club. So not only do you get the Rock Your Talk program when you join the Start Me Up with Speaking Club, but you get all of the other products that I've created, including Live Event Profit Machine for those of you who want to host a live event or speak at somebody else's big event. There's some definite do's and don'ts on that. Workshop-a-Palooza looks at local workshops. If you want to host a nice, simple 1 or 2 day local workshop, not a big, huge, expensive live event, which can be wildly profitable, by the way. But some of you just want to host a little local workshop. Workshop-a-Palooza gives you the A to Z on that. How to do it on a budget, how to find the right location, how to get butts and seats. It's all in there. We show you how to create your own product so you have something to sell that's leveraged and that you can sell online or off, and how to memorize your talk with the Rock Your Talk with Memory Power program. We actually teach you the memory strategies that can help you drop your notes and really comfortably deliver your message without clinging to a piece of paper or worrying, more importantly, I think worrying about, I'm going to forget what I have to say, which can really distract you from serving your audience. So whether you're giving a talk or you're leading a workshop, it's really nice to know, okay, I've got the roadmap memorized in my head. I know where I'm leading people so that you can spend your time focusing on connecting with your audience versus worrying about what you're going to say next or that you're going to forget what you want to say next. Makes sense? I hope so. So that all sits inside the Start Me Up with Speaking Club, and it comes with a lot of bonuses. I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but you have an entire on-demand workshop on how to craft your talk so you can build your talk basically in one sitting. I give you templates and scripts and order form samples, how to book gigs, a script to do that, how to run Facebook ads. We give you the Rise Live Event Marketing Swipe file, which takes you behind the scenes of our own live event. That actually in and of itself, that's probably worth the entire club for those of you who want to do workshops and live events, because I literally show you our entire budget. I don't really know anybody else who's that transparent. Hopefully there are, but we really pull back the entire curtain so that you know all of the ins and outs and how you can create a plan for your own event, big or small, so that you know it's paid for and profitable before you ever set foot in the door, which is an awesome feeling. You're also going to get into my clients-only Facebook group. That's where you can ask questions and I'll answer them anytime. And a monthly coaching and implementation call. That's with me every month, live on the line. And the great news is that this is not going to be offered to you at the $5,000. Obviously, you're getting 6 different training programs and over $5,000 in bonuses. But I'm actually going to make this available to everybody on the line tonight. If you go to speakservegrow.com/start, and Marta will put that in the comments. on Facebook Live and in the chat box on GoToWebinar, so you can follow the link. It's only $9.97 or $97 a month. So if you're not into me or working with me, don't sign up, but feel free to enjoy the rest of the training. But if you are, if you're digging this, I would love to help you this year. Really bring your talk and your message to life and allow you to put people in a room and serve them in a really big way. So not only do you get all the bonuses, you get the monthly coaching, you also get our entire Rise Live event on demand video. So it's a ton of content, and we get to work together for the year for a very easy to get started investment. It's just $97 a month at speakservegrow.com/start. And again, Marta will put those links in the chat and comments for you so you can follow through really easily. I'm going to get into the monetization piece right now, and I'll bounce back to this and give you a tour of the membership site for those of you that are excited and interested. I'm happy to do that. And I'll show you what it looks like real quick before we go into monetizing. It looks like this. So we just redid this membership site, but you get all of these programs and then all of these bonuses and the monthly calls, which we record as well. So you have kind of like a little library of training from the calls as well. So I'm happy to give you a tour of that in a quick moment, but I do want to dive back into the content and make sure in our last remaining minutes here that we figure out how to help you monetize this, because all of this is well and good. But if you are not making money and this is becoming some sort of philanthropy, it's not going to help you have a thriving business. Part of what's really important is for you to be financially free and independent so that you can serve people in a bigger, brighter way. Meaning, the more profitable you are as a business, the less attached you are to the outcome of anyone's sales conversation or even the outcome of your workshop. So instead of, again, that old school pressuring people to say yes, when you're financially stable and your business is growing, you're completely free, right? You can really serve people from the right place emotionally and energetically because you're financially stable. So I touched on Jen's story. I'll circle back because that actually is a pretty amazing story of somebody's first time giving a talk. By the way, my first talk was to 8 people and Jen's was to, I think, 1,000. I might even be saying too small. Maybe it was several thousand. It was so many people. She's very brave. I'll share that story later. But for those of you trying to figure out how to monetize your workshop, some of you are doing free workshops. We'll talk about why that's not a great idea. Many of you have no next step. That is a mistake I made. I'll tell you why that didn't work, meaning you're not making an offer at your workshop. And some of you are really blowing the budget, or you just aren't sure how to budget your workshop, meaning we want to keep an eye on, okay, you're making X amount of money, but how much did it cost you to run the workshop? So we'll talk a little bit about that as well here. The big thing I want you to remember, this is true for giving talks as it is for leading a workshop. If you want to help people change, you need to help them change. Meaning you need to encourage people to actually transform and make some kind of decision based on your interaction or your teaching with them. And that means making an offer. Because I feel like for a lot of people, this can be like a little uncomfortable, meaning if you're like me, you want to serve people in a big way. And you don't want to pressure people. Like I do want to invite you, obviously, come join me in the Start Me Up with Speaking Club. I would love to help you. I'm not going to pressure or bully somebody into working with me, but I'll invite people. Why? Because I want to help you change your business. I want to help you grow your business. I want to help you get to that next level. I don't get to do that if I don't get to talk to you after today, right? So if you want to help your clients or potential clients transform, your job is to invite them to make that change. That requires you making an offer. Now, here's a tricky thing. If you host free workshops, a free workshop is not going to be valued in the same way that one is that people have invested in. And so what we see happening in the marketplace is if you just open the doors and you say, it's totally free, I'm going to teach you for a full day, one would think that everyone would, break down the door to get into your workshop because it's how amazing and generous of you to offer it for free. We would think that, but because of the way the human brain works, we don't value things when people are basically saying, hey, there's no value to it. So people will not show up to your free workshop. That is generally what we're going to see is a lot of people might sign up, but very few will actually show up because they didn't have any skin in the game. And so if they're car is low on gas, or there's someone invites them to a dinner, any little thing that could happen in their day is like, whoop, forget the workshop, and they're out of there. We don't want that for you. So let's just take free workshops off the table for a second, and let's really make it worth their while. Let's put an investment, a dollar amount on the ticket price to attend your workshop, and let's make that workshop awesome so that whatever they're investing, and I believe this for everything you do, whether it's a webinar, hopefully you're getting great value from this free webinar, right? Let us